Hi. Just recapping my last discussion with Anshuman Tiwari on how quality and innovation intersect. These are both very different domains. I came across the field of quality engineering very early in my career, and quality is something which I always thought would apply to really large companies because I would see the stamp of ISO 9001, 2008 certified, and so on. I always thought that it's only when you reach a certain scale that quality starts becoming more important. So, in my discussion with Anshuman, we delved into whether quality management matters at all for startups or small and medium enterprises. And to my surprise, he said, absolutely, it does. Because no matter what kind of an organization that you are building, what kind of business you are building, they all require to function at a high level of output. Your processes need to function well in order for things to be worth it for you. So when it comes to, let's say, an e-commerce delivery startup, it might be a very small operation at the beginning. You might be just thinking that I just need to get deliveries out, to my customers in time, or I just need to figure out a better way to be in front of my customers so that they can give me more orders. Those are the problems that an e-commerce startup tends to solve at the beginning. Now, if it does not manage that well enough, think of the best case that could happen to a company like that is that their customers are supremely happy with what they were offering and they started placing more and more orders. Now they had to scale rapidly fast. If they did not place an emphasis on taking care of inefficiencies, then their losses will start racking up exponentially. And this is what we are seeing in a number of startups which are struggling today. Quality management does play a very important role no matter what kind of an organization you're building. And you don't have to go to the fully blown approaches that large corporations can use. What I liked about Anshuman's approach is that he gave a couple of ways in which quality management is taught. The one which I have seen a lot and the one which I intuitively get is the plan, do, check, and act, or the PDCA cycle. So here you start with planning, you figure out what is it that you want to do. Then in do is that you actually carry out the activity. You check, meaning you confirm whether your implementation was getting you to the right target or not. And act is you make the corrective action. Okay, so plan, do, check, and act. It's a very simple way of approaching quality and implementing it at your end, no matter what kind of a size, or even if you're a solo person who's building an enterprise, it's fine. You can always implement a PDA cycle no matter what you're doing. Now, I tend to also think about innovation. I'm a big innovation evangelist, and one of the approaches which I follow is called as design thinking. And design thinking is used to create breakthrough innovations. It is used to create experiences which will wow your customers. And the framework for the design thinking cycle which I follow has the first stage as empathy or observe your customers. You observe what their world is and then you gather trends. The next stage after that is you define, meaning you hone in a problem that you have to address. After that, you ideate. You generate n number of solutions possible to answer that problem that you picked up. After that, you prototype, meaning you take a couple of your ideas, only the ones that are worth it in terms of taking it to the next level. And you start creating prototypes, meaning you just create very simple versions that don't cost too much, that prove whether your idea is panning out or not. Finally, you test, meaning after you define your prototype, then you bring it in front of your customer. Not every customer, but maybe that early adopter, maybe that customer that is willing to try things out and give you feedback. And in this cycle, you can keep on iterating. What I like is that there seems to be a nice overlap between the plan, do, check, and act and this innovation framework. There's a lot of overlap. And the question which I answered after discussing with Anshuman was, whether quality and innovation do intersect. And the reason for this question was that normally when we think of innovation, it is at the onset of any activity. Imagine you're starting a new research project or you're starting a new business. At that point, you're brainstorming. You're looking at chaos, right? Your mind is operating at different frequencies. And at that point, not thinking whether I can implement things in a quality control method or so on. So to me, innovation is at the start of every journey where there's a lot of chaos. And afterwards, as you start executing things, as things start getting better, you reach a steady state. And at that point, I used to believe that quality will make an entry. But that isn't the case. Quality and innovation can go hand in hand. You don't have to leave one, for one extreme or for the other. Right? There is a healthy overlap between the two. Anshuman also shared a wonderful list of resources, wonderful set of books that we all can look at. I will share the link with you, in the description of this video as well as my podcast. So do take a look. Both are very interesting topics. I like the field of innovation because we either innovate or we perish. Even if you think you're running like a steady state operation, you have to innovate in that. There are improvement innovations that we can think of. You don't have to always create groundbreaking products. You don't have to create these out of the box approaches that the world has us believing in. You can create really amazing products by just paying attention to what is the main problem that your customer is facing. And your customer can be both internal as well as external. That's where a lot of people get confused that, oh, my customers are all my company people. I don't have an end customer facing role. All I do is interact with my sales team and then I interact with my product team. I'm in between the two. The sales team gets to look at all my customers. Sure. But then the sales team is your customer because maybe you're delivering things to them. And maybe you are the customer for the product team. So no matter where you are, you can always think of problems that are around you, which are in your corporation, which is you're collecting a lot of observations. After that, it's up to you to define which of those problems is worth attacking. And then the journey begins. Similarly, when it comes to quality control, you have to gather a lot of observations, lot of data to determine what is not working well and what could be better. Questions are the origin point of every journey. So get curious about things. I love this discussion with Anshuman because he's someone who breaks it down in a very simple and easy to understand manner. He's also a fun guy. So do tune into the show notes, but I gave you like a crash course on essentially what we discussed. I hope this has been useful for you. If you are curious about other topics, I'd love to know what they are. Let me know. You can write to me at hemang@hemangs.com. Right? Thank you. Take care.